Today is a sad day. In fact, I had planned a lot of things today. I mean this week because it's close to New Year, but Modiji's, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modiji's mother is no longer with us. It's very strange when people leave us, forever. In fact, sometimes when I'm asked to write a condolence message, I'm a person who, especially when it is about writing, I like to be honest to the core. In the sense, I cannot lie when I'm writing. When I'm talking as well, I don't tell lies, but then sometimes when I'm talking, I could be, because of the pace, we sometimes speak without thinking, isn't it? We do it a lot of time. We don't think, we just speak and speak and speak. So in that hurry, which is a wrong way of talking, we can say things which we don't mean. We may not be able to express our feelings honestly, but that's the reason I said when I write well and I am honest to the core, which means I express the thoughts with total honesty. So when people ask me to write condolence message sometimes, or I may have to write it, it takes a long time for me to just write a few sentences. Because right from the childhood, when I was around 9 years old, my mother's mother passed away. I remember that so well. And that's not the first time I have witnessed death. Before that, when I was smaller to that, younger to that, when I was about 4 to 5 years old, or yeah, that's it, not more than that. At that time, I have witnessed some deaths, and I used to wonder what is happening to people. Why they're living forever? Why do they have to live forever? And what happens to that vacuum which is there after that? I used to contemplate on that as a child. And in a sense, I wanted to understand why it so happens that people have to live. And once they leave, they never come back. It is just memories of them that stay with us. So as a child, I wanted to understand, and I couldn't. But then when I was around 8 years old and my grandmother passed away, again the same thoughts came, and I tried to get it clarified from my mother, but she was so busy, she couldn't. And then I wanted to understand what it is. But then I think it took me a few more years to attain maturity. And when I was matured, the same question had come to me. And when it is about people you are close to, it's harder, I think, to accept it. And then my dadi, in the sense my father's mother, passed away. My mother's father passed away. So many people whom I know were going one by one. And every time it so happened, I wanted to get in terms with it. So I was very much close to my father's mother, in fact. She lived with us for pretty many years, and I totally accepted her with all her flaws. she had lot many weaknesses, but it's a great thing if you can accept people with their flaws. It's not easy at all. It's not at all easy. I struggle a lot even today, you won't believe it, to try to accept people as they are. And maybe you do succeed in that, in accepting people as they are, which I do now. I can do that now after a lot of practice. Now I can accept people as they are with some time, but still I struggle when it comes to liking them, with their flaws. That's difficult for me. So I'm trying to do that as well. To sometimes I say living by the moment. When people are good, I accept them then, and when people do something wrong, I keep myself away from them. That's how I try to manage it. But I'm striving to like people, to accept people as they are, which I just said that I have accomplished that. It's an attainment to be able to accept people as they are. That's the first level. But that's not it. Next, at the next level is being able to like someone with their flaws, which is still very difficult for me. So my grandmother, that is my father's mother, Dadi, who lived with us for a very, very long time, I started liking her with her flaws. She had so many weaknesses, but in spite of that, it was inclusive of that, in the sense I just liked her for that reason, and we were very close. And when she passed away, that is, I was 20 years old then, almost 19, 20, and again the same thoughts. So it came up, and I realized that there were some steps, you can say stages or steps or whatever you call it, which we have to go through to be able to accept the vacuum that the people who leave us would have left behind. I knew that. I literally experienced those steps. So today, when I read about this, Modiji's mother passed away, I was just thinking about the same thing which I went through in my life. So what are the stages that I'm talking about? It is as I put it, first thing is understanding. The most difficult thing to do is understanding someone, understanding a situation, understanding a truth as it is. It's very, very difficult. If you can understand things, if you can understand people, it's much better if you can do that, and it's very difficult. That's why they say there are many people who know you, but very few people who understand you, right? Because understanding is a higher level. So if you understand that something, it means that you are going to another level, or you have taken a direction which takes you to the next step, which is acceptance. When you understand something, you are close to acceptance. And when you accept something, it directs you to the next point, next juncture, which is gratitude. Gratitude, in a sense, it's a thankfulness. You experience that literally. You feel thankful for the past, you feel thankful for the things as it is now, for the present, and after that comes you are directed towards the next point, which is surrender. When you surrender, you experience peace. You feel peaceful deep inside. You realize that you are, when you're talking about death or people leaving us, when you experience surrender, it means that you feel peace, and you realize that your roles, we as human beings, as individuals, have different various roles to play, which we all do. And why we feel so difficult living here many times is because we are not just doing one role, we have a whole lot of roles. And when you enter into a relationship, it means that you are accepting another role, which makes it more difficult. And we don't realize it. We feel that it's happening naturally, but it's not happening naturally. When you become a mother, when you become a father, it's a role which you have taken up. When you were born, it was easy for you because basically till about 3 years we don't know what role we are playing. So life seems to be very easy. But once you start going to school, you have many roles. The role of a student, the role of being a son, the role of being a brother probably. And from there, it just adds on and on. So many roles, and you realize you are a grandson, you are a granddaughter, you have a role there. Then if you fall in love with someone, you have a role of being a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You have a role of being a wife, a husband. It's never-ending roles. You have so many roles, and it's not easy at all. That's why it feels very difficult. Otherwise life it's not difficult as it seems to us, because we are performing many roles at a time. Things become difficult, and by the passing of someone, what happens is that we are freed from one role. We no longer that person, however he or she is related to us, we no longer have to play that role. So we are freed out of it. You can go. You no longer have to play that role. If it's your mother, that means now you no longer have to play the role of being a son. So that kind of, when you surrender, which what I have experienced, I'm just talking about my experience. It need not be the same for you, okay? It could be different. But what I experienced is that when I experienced that stage, understanding, acceptance, gratitude, and surrendering. At the point of surrendering, I was experiencing so much peace, and I don't want to use the word happiness because it might sound weird to many people. Somebody close to you has passed away and you're feeling happy about it. But how do I put it? That kind of peace which we experience at that point, that this is how it had to be. And now I no longer have one role. I'm just freed from that role. I don't have to play that role, which means I have only the rest of the roles that I have to do. And you cannot do anything about it. Even if you want to play that role, it is not there. So that kind of peace and don't say happiness, is what you experience when you surrender. And that is something I learned with time, And when my mother passed away, which was a bit of shock for me, because she was not sick. She didn't have any particular ailment. We would say that a person could just leave us at that time. So, but then while she was here alive, she was not satisfied, I would say. She had so many difficulties, and so I just thought about it, like it's okay, let her go wherever she's going. She always wanted to be free, she always wanted to be. She always told me that I would like to be free. I would like to be free, whatever it meant to her, though she said it in her own words. So I just realized that that is what she wanted, and probably God waited for a long time, and she's free. So I was in peace when I knew that my mother is no longer with us. And many people would ask me, why you are keeping such a calm face, knowing that it is your mother, she is no longer with you, and you don't seem to be sad, or you don't seem to be have any expressions on your face. I said she suffered a lot while she was here, and she's just gone, and I think that that's okay. That's what she always wanted. I don't know why I said that, but probably it could be the stages which I'm talking about. And there comes a stage of surrendering, where you see, when you surrender and when you have a calmness, when you're going through such situations, people don't realize that you have undergone all these stages before that. It's not like you just directly jumped into this stage, which is called as surrendering. No, we started from understanding, and we have walked a long time. We have taken a long route to reach this stage of surrendering. So when you have surrendered, you can be calm. When you were supposed to be crying, probably to be mourning, to be, I don't know, it's a time when usually people break down, but you are able to be in a state of calm. It's not peace probably, but you could always be in calm. So that's how it is. That's about death. So when people ask me to write a condolence, I don't know what to write there. I don't know. It takes a long time for me to do that. It's just that it's a life, it's a part of life, and when somebody has lived for 90 plus years, I think that we cannot ask for more. We cannot. So after that, when somebody is not well, especially after 95, 96, 97, and somebody is not keeping well, I don't know, I just cannot say let them come back healthy and be active. It doesn't sound right for me. It's just that those are the years which God has just bestowed on us. It's like a gift for us. And anybody who lives beyond 90 now, it's just that it's by the mercy of God we have been given many more years to be here, because I think the circle is 90. After that, it's just an additional blessing for us, probably, if we are healthy, that is. So that's about it. So today is not a happy day, because anytime somebody who matters to us, they live, we don't say we are happy. We just trying to get in terms with that somehow, because we are still here, although some of our roles are getting erased by the passing of each person that we love. And as you sit and think about it, it definitely feels heavy. Heart gets heavy and we feel bad about it, but then we still have other roles to play. So we are still in the race. We are left in the race. So as long as we are in the race, we have to get in terms with what is happening. It takes time for many people. Sometimes we quickly accept it and quickly get through it. But otherwise, for some people, as I mentioned, these stages, some people get stuck at one stage, in the sense understanding. You could just get stuck there and never get to the next level, which is acceptance, and that's going to be hard. Some people get to the next level of acceptance and get stuck there. They never reach the next level, which is gratitude. No. And from gratitude is the hardest part of it, to get to the surrendering level, which is very difficult to experience. And then in the surrendering part as well, you could just be stuck there because the emotions keep flowing, and if you are very sentimental, and if you don't keep yourself active as well, it's going to be difficult. It's going to take you a very, very long time to get out of that. So there are two things you can do when you are feeling very emotional, coming to the surrendering part. What you could be doing is to keep yourself engaged all the way. Even being with people who care about, for some people, if you share something with your soulmate, it could be a soul friend as well. If you share your feelings and your heaviness with them, they are going to feel better, but it will not work. It's not going to work. You keep crying, you keep releasing your pain, the more it just gets filled up. It will fill up. So it's better to get active. When you're active, you don't have time to get emotional, right? Because your mind is working. So the best way when you have reached your surrender stage is to keep yourself active and be engaged with your work. And any time that you pause and sit, be silent and revise these stages that you have come through, then you realize that you are in which stage. If you are in the stage of acceptance, you would like to push yourself to the next level, direct you to the next level. If you are in the gratitude level, experience it, as they say, experience it, feel it, that gratitude. So that's how it is. And if you are in surrendering stage, then surrender. Be in peace with what it is, and think of what you have to do next. Like Carl Lewis, the author, has said, crying is okay, but then sooner or later you have to stop crying and think of what you're going to do next. Have you experienced that sort of pain? Sometimes you have immense pain and you just cry and cry and cry. And see, when you're crying, what you're doing is just your emotional expressions. In the sense, you are just releasing your emotional backup. That's what comes out. At that time, you are never going to go through this understanding, acceptance, gratitude, and surrendering. You cannot do when you are crying. So you want to go through that, you will have to stop crying and just sit silently for a while. Only then you can experience these. When you're crying, you just can cry and just release it. That's all you will do. Crying is okay. We all do it at some point of time. Sometimes it is so painful and you just want to release it and you just cry and cry and cry. And it seems like it's not going to end at all. It's like sneezing sometimes. I have had such experiences when I've cried like that. And at that time, I felt that it's like sneezing. When you sneeze once, the next one comes, the next one comes. The same way when you cry, it seems like there is no end for it. And you keep crying, keep crying. You keep thinking of those memories. It's like a magnet that you attach to those good fond memories that you have with that person. It seems like you are not able to take yourself out of it. And those memories keep coming and you cannot stop crying. It happens. So that's what I'm just wanted to share a condolence message to Modi ji, and I'm sure her soul would rest in peace. There's no doubt about it. She's been a very good person. In her own son's words, we all know that how much he loved her, and about her contributions in raising someone, in giving birth to someone who has come to this position, and yes, who has done so much of service to the nation and a state as well. And she has always been sharing her wise wisdom with him. Even the last time when he went to meet his mother, I think on her 100th birthday probably, or even after that, she had shared a very good thought of wisdom to her son. And I think because I just saw Modi ji do some of the meetings today after attending the final rituals, and I just couldn't believe that somebody, after attending to their mother's final rituals, could just come straight and be in the office and take on work. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of devotion. It also takes a lot of reverence to that person. It's the best thing. He did the right thing. I'm sure that is what even his mother would have loved, and that is the right thing to do. As I said, you must keep yourself rightly, productively engaged. Be active. It's one way to get over your pain. And when I'm talking so much about this, let me just tell you, it differs from person to person. That is also there. So if you want to be healed, if you want to just some help and support to get over a pain of losing someone, it can only be done when I know where you are, in the sense what kind of person you are, how you receive pain, and how you deal with emotions and all that. Only then it can be done. You cannot give a one straight solution for problems, especially these kind of mental attributes. They differ from person to person. Like how people process pain and how they experience it and how they deal with it, it differs from individual to individual. It's not the same. So it's not one medicine, it's not one solution. It's going to be different for each person. Can you see it's very windy today? It is. Okay. So that's the thought I wanted to share today. So have you had any such experience? Of course, everybody has one or the other time gone through such situations when you have lost someone that you care about, that you love. Could be someone very close to you, it could be a friend, it could be your neighbor. Anytime somebody is gone, we kind of feel it, right? And some people think about it. Like when you walk in rain, it seems most people, about 95% of people, we get wet. So does it mean that the others don't get wet? The others are who are holding umbrellas, who are taking shelters, and very few of them, as they get wet, they feel the rain. Yeah, so the same thing applies here. When somebody is no longer with us, some people contemplate on that. They don't take it so lightly. They want to know why it is that when somebody is born, we are so happy, but when someone is leaving and they're no longer there, why it is so difficult to handle their absence. Something is stinking here. I don't know what. Some bad smell is coming. So that's how it is. Okay. So let me know how you have experienced pain of losing someone, and how did it change you? Have you learned some lessons out of it? So many people have gone. So many people in your life have gone. In my life as well. Of course, they leave us with so much memories which stays with us. Sometimes, and I was also saying that some people leave but they never leave. That is also there. You just have to let them be with you all the time. They don't live as such. That is also there. So that's how we handle death. There's no other way. We have to get in terms with all these things, you know. As you add years to your life, you learn to accept things as it is. That is why we need to develop that kind of understanding in life, you know, which we did not have when we were younger. As we grow older, we tend to understand things better. It seems strange. It seems strange, and as I look back, when I was younger, I used to wonder, looking at some people, how they can take things so lightly. If I were in their place, I would have screamed, I would have shouted, I would have been out of my control probably. But they seem to be so much in control. How come? But now I realize that's because they were so elder to me, not just because they were elder to me, they were matured. Your experiences help you mature, isn't it? So let's all, for a moment, close our eyes and honor Modiji's mother and let her soul rest in peace. Be thankful for everything she has done. We also lost a great player, a great football player, Pele. I knew it in the morning when I woke up today. I woke up at around 4:45 because I had to. My brother and family, they left, so they leave pretty early in the morning. So I got up at that time, and I didn't have anything to do at that time. I could not take a bath, so I just sat there scrolling through the Facebook, and you know what we do right in the morning. Oh, and at that time I saw that Pele, I felt that Pele just waited for the World Cup to be over, and then he left. Okay, so that's all. They leave us with so much of lessons and so much of memories, so we learn from the good they have left us with and carry on, because we still are here. We still are in the race. We still have a role to play, many roles in fact. Okay, take care. And today's 29th, 30th, which leaves us with just one day, and it's a new year. Take care.